Hello everybody and welcome back to Cities Skylines 2, where we just developed a fairly large area out over here. And we do need to run the simulation for a bit here, and we should probably keep an eye on things like services. How are we doing on our electricity generation? How are our crematoriums doing? Do we need additional police stations, fire stations, things like that? We haven't been doing that for a while, and we should definitely consider doing exactly that. So let's tick on forward here. We probably need more wireless out over here too, don't we? Actually, we're doing okay on that front, but we could certainly toss a telecom tower in about here. So that'll do for now. Let's take a look at fire. We could definitely, I think, use a firehouse somewhere out over here. I'm going to toss one in there. Let's take a look at police. Oh yeah, we could certainly put in a police station. So I want to get zoomed in over here, and we can see about, yeah, it really doesn't want to put a police station in over here. We could put one in like that, though, and I think that's reasonable. Schools. What about schools? Well, what about them? We're going to need them, is the answer. Taking a look at this, we could definitely use an additional college as well. We could put the college right about here or so. That's overlapping items? Oh, right, the wireless. That would do the trick. We can put the college somewhere around here or so, or we could just move the wireless to the other side of the road. I think that's not a terrible idea. So let's just move this straight on over to here. I do think another college over here does make sense. I want to put it about here. And yes, that means that we're not going to have this street, but that is understood. Then as far as an elementary school goes, I do think we need one down over here. So we're going to put an elementary school, because yeah, our nearest elementary school is here. So I think that we should put an elementary school in somewhere around here or so. And that of course means that we don't have this street either, but that's reasonably fine. Okay, so let's continue to tick on forward here. What other things might we need here? Well, let's check in on garbage. Our incineration plant is fine. There is no issue whatsoever there. We do have some high rent issues. We may want to consider lowering taxes, actually, because honestly, we're doing just fine in terms of our taxes for now. What happens if we drop this by a third? We're still at plus 3 million. You know what? Maybe we sit at like 4%, dropping our taxes by 2/3 here. Okay, how's that actually going to be in our balance, though? I'm not sure. This is giving us our estimated total income. Okay, this is our monthly balance. This is still positive, so I think that's fine. We've got so much money right now. So we can just do something like that for the moment. As long as it's positive, I'm content with it. So that seems relatively okay. We do want to tick forward here, and we do see that there's a traffic. Actually, we're waiting for a hearse down here. I do want to check in on how we're doing on our crematoriums. So we've got a crematorium around here somewhere. Yeah, here's one. We could certainly go for a hearse garage, but we can see there's only 4 vehicles deployed right now. Okay, now I'm thinking about on-ramps and off-ramps out over here, right? Just getting them onto the highway would probably be pretty beneficial. There's no actual connection over here, so this doesn't help it. We could consider putting in a off-ramp on this side. So come in about like that. Maybe not even that far out. Like around here or so. And then an on-ramp out over here. Like that. So the idea behind that is that this is a little bit unusual, right? But the idea behind this is they can quickly come in and they can go up over here. They can go this direction or this direction. And this is not necessarily ideal, but this is about optimizing our hearse locations, right? We want our hearses to be able to exit out here and quickly get onto the highway system. That's the concept anyway. We definitely need a lot more people over here, and it looks like our commercial areas have filled out somewhat. Okay, definitely in the low density commercial areas. Let's extend this low density commercial area and just get this meta block completed. So that is going to be extending out to here. Technically, I don't think this is quite the position we want it to be at, but we can just go like that, and that's okay. So that'll be fine, and then we can extend these roads out, of course. So they would just go right on in like so. Okay, and then this highway would need to get extended. This road would get brought in about here. There we go. And the real question now is just how much do we want to do on getting this meta block set up? I mean, this is going to be a commercial meta block in theory, right? Yeah, it would be. So, I mean, we could do that. We just want to make sure that we're ticking forward, right? So that'll be reasonably fine. We can bring this on forward to, well, really, we should be bringing the roads through first. The roads should be the top priority right now. So that would mean connecting this road up to here. Like that, as step one. Then this road would connect up to about here or so. This road is excluded because of the school. But then this road would come up over here, right? And would go right there. Cool. Then we can bring these roads in. This one would only go to here again because of the school. This road would go all the way over, although it doesn't want to build in there, so we're going to have to put it here instead. If we can get that straightened out, which apparently we can't, we'll bring it into here, and then we can get it straightened out. Okay, cool. So that'll be fine. Can we just build this directly over? The answer is no. We can build it to here. That's okay. And I want to take this out to here, because this road is going to connect in like this, right? We need to have this road available here. It just doesn't go down all the way because of the school. So then this would come in out over here-ish. Sure, that works. Okay, so that gets those roads completed. At this point, of course, we need to get our highways through. So then we can bring this highway to about here or so. Then about here, then about here. Hang on, that's 178. Let's try that again. Okay, that's apparently 180. Oh, we're in Curve Tool. No wonder things feel kind of weird. Okay, I'm going to actually take this out of here for the time being. We're going to back this off to here. And now we're going to do this a little bit differently. Yeah, this feels much better. Excellent.
Whereas I make no
and that's 180. There we go. And then we'll drop this guy right about here for the time being. Cool. We're going to need to drop a pillar out over here, it looks like. We've got overlapping items here. I see. This is due to the terrain height here. So I'm going to take this section out. We're going to have to redo this. Nothing too major here, though. And we will put this right about here. There we go. And then this is going to be mildly awkward here. We'll do that, and hopefully we're going to be okay with a roundabout, but we might have, yeah, slope too steep there. I'm not shocked about that. So I'm going to take this section out. That's slope too steep as well. Remarkably.
Just for you, and I do hope it provides your aching spirit some.
And that's overlapping items.
Desolation.
Okay, well that's mildly awkward. Well, this is trying to dip down considerably here. Okay, that's very, very strange. No doubt about that. We'll just link this up here. And slope too steep. Okay, so things could definitely get awkward here. This is a very steep area. No doubt about it. There's a lot of terrain variation here. So out of curiosity, what if we came through from this direction, right? And we built this to be about here. And then we brought this in. That's giving slope too steep right there. Okay, so what if we took this section out and we built it out from, I want to be exactly vertical in the camera here. We built it out from here, right? Now, that's not exactly dead on in terms of the angling. Okay, but what if we built it this way? That is dead on in terms of the angling, and that allows us to build it, but awkwardness ensues. We might have to flatten this area. Let's see what this gives us. Slope too steep here. That's intriguing. If we get rid of that, now we can put in the roundabout. Take this section out. Order of operations here is very important, and it's kind of strange how important it is, to be honest. Okay, so then we can bring this guy up to here. There we go. And now we can bring this directly over. That's giving overlapping items. Okay, so we now take this out, and we have to rebuild that because we want the pillar to now be here, in theory. Yes. Then about here. Then here. And then straight to the city limits. So that would be, you know, right here. Okay. So something along the lines of that. Then we bring this out over this way. And drop a pillar there. Okay. I mean, that works. Yeah, that absolutely works. So at this point, we want to put in our on-off ramps here, right? So we want to come on down over here and just go something like that. And something like that'll do. Out over here, same sort of thing. We'll see how our slopes go. There's definitely a lot of slopes in this area, but I think we're not going to have on-off ramp issues here necessarily. Once again, I don't love the way that the lanes are generated here, but we'll fix it if it causes issues. For right now, it doesn't appear to be causing any issues. That is causing some interesting issues here, though. Interesting. What happens if we build this out backwards? So we come out over here. That's all giving overlapping items unless we come out over here. Okay. I'm going to try removing this street and rebuilding it. We might have to dig out here a little bit, though. I don't like the altitude that or rather the orientation that we got that in. Okay. So something like that. That might give us a little bit more space to work with here, potentially. So then this guy would come out over here, right? Yeah, that's still giving overlapping right here. Okay. So in that case, we can just remove this section. And now we should be absolutely fine to build this. So we can just put it in about here, like that. And then about here. That slope too steep. That slope too steep. Even that slope too steep. Yeah. There's a big old slope over on this side. Okay, we'll see about backing this off over to, like, here. That's a 22% grade, and it's getting worse as we go through it. Okay, so this side definitely needs some work on that front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to level out the height from here. I want to bring this down to, like, 50 size. And we're just going to do something kind of like that. And then we're going to build this road through, at least to here. Then we can look to connect it down here, but for now, we'll do something along the lines of that. Okay, and then we can see about our highway section, which this would, of course, come from here and go down to about here, which is absolutely fine. I don't love the way that this is set up. I want to redo this. Yeah, I don't like the turn lanes here, but whatever. Again, if it causes us problems, we can rework those. We pretty much know how to rework them. It's just a matter of trial and error. So now we can rebuild that, and then we can use the Soften Terrain tool to smooth this out in this area. Just a wee bit. Get rid of this tiny little section of road. And then what I want to do is, of course, I want to connect this in. I don't know how this is going to go. Yeah, that gives slope too steep. I'm not shocked about that. So what I want to do now is take these sections of road out. I want to build this in over here. About like that. But you can see that we got some bridge going on here, which isn't necessarily ideal. It does end up working, kind of. And then we can do something like that. And then ideally, this guy would come out over here. That gives a slope too steep, though. Okay, so we're going to have to do some additional terraforming over here. That's not super shocking, to be honest. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just soften all of this out for the moment. I want to get our size up a little bit here. Using the level terrain tool, I'm going to grab this altitude. Interesting. Okay, so that is noted. And we're going to soften this out on each side here. About like that. Then I'd like to run this road through about like this, but I do want to soften this actually over here. So soften terrain tool here. In fact, I'd like to like slope terrain tool. Yeah, something more like that. And then we can soften it out over this way. That'll do. Then we can run this road through this direction. Like that. Now this does cut through here, but that's okay. We are intending to lower this position a little bit. So now I want to use the slope terrain tool. I want to grab this height, and we just want to do something kind of like that. Okay. So with that done, that gives us a slope here and a slope here, in theory. And let's see if that allows us to connect this straight on through. Fingers crossed. Have we learned things? I mean, the answer is probably no, but we can bring this in over here. That's reasonably fine. What about the connection from here to here? Actually, that works at 89 degrees. It's still sloped too steep at 90. So we could do a little bit of work over this way with the soften terrain tool. Something kind of like that. And let's see if that allows us to do this. If that doesn't work, then we can do the slope tool. 89 degrees. Snap only to angle, please. What happens if we just build it straight through here? That still gives slope too steep. Okay. That's only a 15% grade overall. But okay. What happens if we then build it from here up to here? Okay, we might just have to accept this 89 degree here. And then we build this one out to compensate for that. Like that. It's ever so slightly imperfect, but it does work, and it makes all of this buildable. So I think that's functional. Absolutely. Okay, next up, of course, we need to do some off-ramps up over here. These should go much smoother. So one there and one there. Yep, that'll do. So that is this meta block almost complete. We may want to consider extending this road out and dead-ending it at the school here. That gives us a little bit of additional construction area, I think. And this is, of course, at least this section over here is going to be low-density business. I haven't fully decided what we're going to do with this yet, but this is absolutely going to be low-density business out over here, so we can just do something kind of like that, zone additional low-density business, and that should help with our demand for commercial. I think maybe we make this row housing, considering that we do have a fair amount of medium-density demand. So maybe we just do something kind of like this. Actually, this block needs it too. That would help. Something kind of like this. So some medium density housing over here. We haven't had much demand to expand our industrial beyond these, what is this, 4 meta blocks? And to be honest, we could expand it out this way just a wee bit. So that's fine. We can definitely do that. So that would mean taking this, right? And zoning everything from like here over to about here as industrial. About like that. So now there's that extra little bit of industrial space over here. There's not a lot of demand for industrial. There is a lot of demand for housing. Oh wait, this is not necessarily supposed to be zoned up here. Let's remove the zoning up here for now. Okay. You guys can all get out of here. Phenomenal. We do not need structures up this way just yet. We haven't decided on this meta block. So that's okay for now. We do have a few more meta blocks that we can get designed in over here. I like how all of our offices are all clustered down on this half of this meta block. I don't know why they decided to build it like that, but okay, whatever. We also know that we have this high density area, and there's not a lot of demand for high density, right? No doubt about that. Oh, what's going on over here? Hang on. Weather damage. And it's gone. I guess it was getting stormed on. Sure. We've got a fair amount of accidents down over here. How are we doing with road maintenance? The smog is just unbearable. Actually, let's check in on our air pollution. It's been a while. Honestly, unless you're in the pollution zone, it's not so bad. And what's in the pollution zone? Basically nothing is the answer. So yeah, it doesn't seem all that bad to me in terms of air pollution. So that seems reasonably fine. There's a lot of traffic accidents down over here. That might just be due to the weather. I don't know. I'm wondering about road maintenance depots, though. Maybe we need an additional road maintenance depot. So our existing road maintenance depot is up over here, right? Or maybe we need to upgrade it. 10 out of 10 vehicles in use. Okay. So this would give us 5 additional maintenance vehicles, and that's super cheap. Let's do it. That'll increase our number of maintenance vehicles by 50%, but we might well need an additional road maintenance depot. Cool. So now we've got these securing accident sites. Okay, and they're able to come over this direction and get onto the highway fairly easily out over here, in theory.
A driving advisory has been issued
So
for
that
the
seems
immediate
okay.
area due to poor road conditions. Please exercise
I
caution
do
if you
want
must
to,
drive,
yeah, I think
and
that
try
we
to stay off
probably
the
should
streets
think
until
about an
conditions
additional road
improve.
maintenance depot,
This
perhaps
has been a
somewhere
local public
over
service
here.
announcement.
It would actually
A
fit in
driving
here.
advisory has been issued for
Do
the
it.
immediate area
Let's
due
get
to
that
poor
built,
road
and let's get it
conditions.
immediately
Please
upgraded as well.
exercise caution if you must drive,
So up to
and try to stay
15
off the streets
additional
until
maintenance
conditions
vehicles
improve.
there. Now, I don't
This has
love
been
what
a
we've
local
got
public
going on
service
with
announcement.
this street, Lafayette Street.
Second Moon
So
Radio,
we could certainly get
your
rid of
host,
that.
J. Thomas Hornbuckle. Tune in
And we could
tomorrow for a
think
second chance
about
to hear
having like a
music
slope
of the
terrain
street.
tool from here, like that.
So
we put that in more of a slope. Then we rebuild this section of road up to, that's not really the angle that I want to be at visually. Okay, there we go. Up to about there. That is much, much better. Then we can smooth this all out.
If you're in it, you already
Cool.
know about it. No use reminding
That'll
you.
do the trick.
Meanwhile,
What is this icon? High resource cost. Trouble procuring relevant resources at profitable rates. Okay, so taking a look at this, it's an 87% efficiency, not enough employees. I mean, yeah, we definitely need more employees. There's no doubt about that. We're working on it. That is definitely a thing that we are doing. So we've got these accident sites down here that we are still dispatching people out to. This is no car access over here. That seems like a personal problem. They built their property wrong. What even is that? Is that this? I guess so. And now that has no car access either. This is, I think, a bug, and that is hopefully going to be fixed eventually. There's a little bit of abandonment down over here. I want to check in on our power situation. So let's go into our electricity mode here. Looks good. We're not importing or exporting power right now. Our battery is fully charged, so that's absolutely fine. As far as our water services go, that looks okay. Healthcare. Crematoriums. We're going to need additional death care. Gotcha. I'm going to put a crematorium out over here. This is like adjacent to the pollution zone. So we'll put it there, and we may even want to upgrade these a little bit. So I want to check in. Do we have a problem with our processing speed, or is it just our pickups? That is something we need to figure out here. So we've got this crematorium here, right? It's only storing 3 deceased right now. So it's pickups. That's the problem. So in that case, we might... Well, actually, they're not even deploying all that many hearses. So we've got this crematorium here. Where are our other crematoriums at? We have one crematorium here. We have one crematorium here. I thought we had a second crematorium. Apparently we don't. Interesting. But I do think that we should probably consider... Well, actually, this one up over here. Can we expand this one with the hearse garage? Yes, we can. We can put that, like, over here. If we did that, we wouldn't be able to get another hearse garage. This is the maximally that we can expand this. That said, we could put a refrigerator expansion. Sure. We'll do that. So our crematorium is very fancy at this point. Phenomenal. And then, of course, we've got this one out over here. And the benefit of the crematorium out here is really more that it's closer to some of these other locations, right? It'll still have to exit out over here, but it has no vehicles in use right now. We're not going to be too concerned about it for the moment. Okay. Well, let's check in real quick on how our water is doing here. Interesting. I think, yeah, this is definitely filling. We are actually at capacity over here. So this section is now going to be filling up to, looks like these holes, but I'm not sure where the actual point is here. I want to use the level terrain tool here. I want to grab this level if we can and just level that on, not necessarily up here, but level that on out through here, right? So I just want to set this to be at this level. We just want to have particular levels for a river for the time being, and we can just fill those up. So then we've got this section here, right? Oh, that moves the camera a lot, which isn't necessarily what I want, but I guess we can go down here. Now, again, we're going to clean these shorelines up once the river fills in, so that's fine. But I do want to get these leveled off. This is not the height that I wanted. Yeah, this is definitely not the height that I want. Okay, let's try that height. That's better. Cool. So something along the lines of that, and we're just putting in these, like, levees, right? Then down over here, we have it at a reasonable height. So I think a levee somewhere around here would do. We just want to, and we're going to rework this. Actually, what we really want is a dam down here, I think. So at what altitude? At what altitude indeed? So a second dam here, I think, would make a lot of sense. And then we would end up putting in... Where are we? Why am I not seeing it? Am I blind? I am blind. Okay, good to know. So this would end up going, you know, somewhere down here, right? That is showing up as in water and overlapping items. So we've got this area right here, right? So one thing we could consider doing is simply putting it... Electricity. There we go. Simply putting it, like, here. That comes back as in water and elevation too low and overlapping items. This is simply in water. And where is that in water problem happening? It's right over here. So to that end, we can level out this terrain a little bit. About like that. And then we can put this at the same height over here, which this is going to be interesting. But we can put it there for now. And our dam here is going to be at about that altitude, right? So we'll do something like this. Cool. And then this would go in theory, from about here over to about here. Now that's coming back as in water, which, you know, is awkward considering it's a dam. Hang on. It would let us build it here. Not here, but here. I'll allow it. Okay, so we're going to put that in. Actually, I don't love where it put this transformer, but I guess it's okay. I guess. This highway is going to be terminating here. We're not going to extend the highway out this way, right? So actually, just having the highway terminate here is not necessarily the worst thing. We'll have to decide how we want to do that. But for now, I think that this dam is at a reasonable place. Unfortunately, it's going to flood some of these areas, right? At this current height level, it is absolutely going to flood some of these areas that are below this level. And we'll have to figure out which areas these are going to be, and we're going to have to take action to prevent that. The easiest way to do it, at least right now, and we'll clean this up later, the easiest way to do it would just be to go through here and just put in a wall at the same height as the dam. until we start getting up higher, until we start this actually, lowering our level here, right? So this is going to be awkward. Okay, now we're lowering the level. So it'll be just something kind of like that. We'll have to figure out how we want to handle this situation over here. But this should do the trick. As far as this highway goes, I suppose that we could simply take this down to like a 2-lane, 2-way highway and use the curve tool and connect it in over here. That is slope too steep though. This highway is too low, so the highway would need to be brought up. That's okay. We can definitely work on that. It is past time to put a cut in here though, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to see what ends up happening with all of this nonsense. And we definitely want to clean up all of this. To be honest, we probably don't even need these levees. Now that we have that dam at the front there, that's going to be what's going to set the water level. If we want to raise the water level over here, because the water level here is going to appear quite low, we can always put in another levee somewhere, but we can decide where we want that to go at a future time. For right now, we really don't need these, although we're still going to have some of them due to the highway awkwardness. But yeah, something along the lines of this. And that'll allow our river to settle in a lot more naturally. I like it. So, I mean, right now this has no road access, right? But we could simply run a temporary road out over this direction. Like that. Temporary road, now it has road access. Phenomenal. So obviously the water level is going to be too low here for a while. It's going to take some time to fill that up, but that's okay. Like I said, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we'll continue to work a bit on what we've got going on up here. This is going to cause some issues in the short term as the water is unleashed, but I do expect that this will drain out and not be too big of an issue, hopefully. It should level out through these areas, in theory. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.